Okay, I think we're going to get started. We'll let people trickle in. Once again, thanks everyone for joining. My name is Lily. Hi, how are ya? I am the MicroTouch Business Development Manager here at Metropolitan Sales. So MicroTouch is the line I focus on, and today our webinar, Purpose-Built Kitchen Display Systems, Hospitality Biggest Challenges, TrueOrder KDS. So before we begin, just again, thanks for joining everyone. We're very happy to share these new features, seen a lot of momentum about KDS in general, and just excited to all be here. So before we start, just a couple housekeeping rules, rules and questions and whatnot. There is a question panel. If you see in the upper hand, a little chat with a question mark, you can ask questions throughout the entire webinar. We'll do them at the end, anytime though, and we'll address all of them. If we don't get to them all at the end, we will of course be in touch with you all. This webinar is being recorded, so you will receive an email with the recording after. In addition, you can send that to anyone. And thank you for your time. Of course, our $10 Starbucks gift cards. Just give us till the end of the week, a day or two, to get those into you. But yeah, we're excited to be here. I'm here with Scott Smith from MicroTouch, VP of Production Solutions, and Tessa Cole, Product Manager from Epson. So we're going to bounce back and forth between the two vendors. And without further ado, Scott is going to kick it off. Thanks, guys.
All right. Welcome, everyone. So we'll get started. And let me take a moment here to, most of you probably know MicroTouch, but if you're new to MicroTouch, MicroTouch is one of the original architects of the touchscreen industry, and 40 years ago actually invented capacitive touchscreen technology. At that time, that's really the front runner technology to the projected capacitive technology used on virtually every consumer and commercial touchscreen device today. So we've been in the industry a long time and have a lot of experience in this industry, particularly hospitality, retail, and commercial applications. So with that, let's jump into KDS hardware and the MicroTouch mock KDS hardware solutions. Okay, so mock is our product line and product family that we use primarily for KDS, point of sale and kiosk applications. We are deployed in a lot of high volume quick service restaurants and fast casual environments. Our products support multiple operating systems, including Linux, Android, Windows, Chrome Flex. And for today's discussion, we'll be focused on Linux, as Epson's TrueOrder KDS software package runs on Linux. And then also along those lines, ordering the mock products from Metropolitan, that will be ready out of the box, configured with the software drivers and partner tools. And in this case, for the part numbers for Epson TrueOrder KDS, it will be shipped, ready to go out of the box for you. All right, so what makes the MicroTouch mock products really great for KDS applications? And the key one that it boils down to is these are commercial grade products. We spend a lot of time developing our products so that they will hold up in the most rigorous applications of a kitchen. We are providing products that are sealed basically from liquids, cleaning chemicals, anything that might happen in a kitchen. We're sealing these products. We're covering and concealing our connection ports. We're providing cable management. Everything about these products is really designed to keep out the ingress of anything that's happening in the kitchen. And then we're marrying that with some refined aesthetics. We want the product to look good, and we also want it to be fit for kitchen applications. And this is a high usage environment, so radiuses around the corners and making them very stable, and building them for 24/7 operations important for us. So that's really the primary feature. Now, along with that, we have many other features that, here we go, such as optical bonding. So optical bonding, this is a feature that MicroTouch does exceptionally well. And what that is taking the touch screen and bonding it to the LCD panel. And you say, well, okay, why is that important for kitchens? Well, what it does is it mechanically strengthens the overall systems to take the abuse that might happen in the kitchen in those situations. The other thing that it does is it makes the optical properties of the display really good. And that's important because what you'll see when Tessa reviews the TrueOrder software is that there's a lot of optical requirements. There's text involved. There's a lot of things that the operators in the kitchen will be using these devices for, and speed and legibility and reading text and doing other things on these displays is actually very important. And the optical bonding helps with that degree. Now, the other thing that we do too is we have a really good etched anti-glare treatment on the surface of the touchscreen. This is etched into the glass. It's not just a simple coating on the glass that wears off over time. This is a very scratch resistant, robust, etched in the glass anti-glare. And it also helps with the readability of the displays themselves in the application. All right, a couple other things too. We do have ultra slim borders, but maybe even more importantly to that is how we interface our touchscreen to the border, to the bezel of the display. These are all sealed in place. There's basically no liquid ingress on the display, even if it gets super wet with either water, cleaning fluids, or other liquids involved in the kitchen. And then back to the optical performance, we use premium LCD displays. So these are high bit panels. There's better color reproduction, and also back to the readability. That's critical in these applications. It reduces errors, and it just makes the flow in the kitchen much quicker. All right. Now, a few other things about the Mach product itself. These are commercial grade products. We develop these products with a very long life cycle in mind. We really are developing for a 6, 7, 8 year life cycle of the product. And what that means is that when we develop the products on the front end, we're choosing some of the most sophisticated processors, some of the most current LCD panels. We want these products to last quite a long time in the field with our 3-year warranty, but also we want to give support and service even beyond that. So our intention is to develop a product that's running with a 7-year life cycle, so that you'll have long-term support for that product over the life of the product. Now, in the case of these products, we're using MediaTek Genio 700 processors. These are sophisticated processors. They're the latest processors from MediaTek, and these processors are supported through 2032. So there's multiple years of support left on these processors. And why is that important? That's important because the operating systems that run on these processors, MediaTek will support all the new operating systems as they come along. So you will be getting very long-term support from these products. Um, we we don't want to come out with a product that's using some legacy processor just because it's super inexpensive. Because what will happen is that product will launch, and 3 years later, well, maybe it's not running the latest version of Linux or the latest version of Android, and then you're stuck with a product that you can't upgrade, especially for security reasons. So we want to take that the extra step, go the extra mile, give you something that's going to last a long period of time and have that support in place. Okay, a few things on mounting configurations. We develop these products so they can be mounted in multiple ways for the kitchen. Maybe a counter pole mounting, or the most popular one that we see is ceiling pole mounted, where it drops down from the ceiling and it's up above the workstations and leaving the workstations open. Or in some cases, it's just a simple countertop stand. All those are available. We have standard VESA mounts on the units, and then we also provide multiple sets of cable covers to keep the ingress of any of the environmental conditions from the kitchen out of the display and away from the display. All right. So those are really the key items that we are using in terms of our product configuration. And let's see, Tessa, I think you're going to have to take control back over. There you go. And let me turn it over to Tessa so to pick up on the TrueOrder KDS highlights.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. As a reminder, I'm Tessa. I'm product manager for digital transformation solutions at Epson America. And one of those very important solutions is TrueOrder KDS. So I'm excited to take you through sort of the software that's going to run on this hardware from Epson and, what's exciting about it. All right, so the TrueOrder Kitchen Display System, just to get started, this is a really robust, user-friendly KDS software. It is developed and maintained by Epson America here in the Americas. As we just talked about, it runs on some of the industry-leading kitchen display hardware, so it's meant for a robust implementation. We're not talking so much about smaller consumer-grade tablets and things like that. This is something that is really going to last, both between the software and the hardware. Right. This is really targeted for quick service restaurants, but it could be single or multi-location. And we'll talk a little bit later about some of the features that that can help you even across multiple locations. So I think the first thing to talk about this is how TrueOrder KDS actually works and how it takes in orders, most importantly. So a lot of times with a modern quick service restaurant, you're juggling a lot of different order types coming in from a lot of potentially different sources. So there might be dine-in orders, there might be takeout orders, orders coming in from various platforms, right? And those are all going to come into your POS system. Your POS system might be more modern tablet-based system, cloud solution, something like that, or it could be just a really traditional POS system that's worked for you forever. One of the things that's exciting about TrueOrder KDS is that regardless of what POS system you're using, we can almost always integrate with that system with essentially no disruption or programming effort to you. And the way that we do this is what we call it POS parser or printer emulation approach, where essentially the point of sale system, as long as it can print to an Epson printer, it can send data to the KDS because we're actually just interpreting the print data that the point of sale system is sending, and then we are applying a layer of mapping and intelligence on top of that in order to get all of the sort of juicy information about what the meaning is for each line of text and things like that. So there's also another method. There also is an API approach for folks who maybe want a more sophisticated, like two-way communication, things like that, complex integrations, but the vast majority of folks just go with this printer emulation method because it's so successful and so easy to get started with. So let's say you've got your initial setup, you've got data flowing to the KDS from your point of sale. The next step is to add as many stations as you need. So you could run this as a one-station system, but if you've got a larger workflow, you've got a grill station, you've got a cold station, you've got a drink station, however you want to do that, you can add more stations and have the order routed, or even the components of the order routed that are necessary to each station. So you split up the order that way, and then everyone sees just the components that they need to put together. And oftentimes when you do have this multi-station flow, you'll want an expediter station at the end of it. So an expediter or expo station, it's often called, can show you the order and whether or not all its components are completed. So it can show, okay, if the grill station and the cold station and the drink station are all done with their pieces of this order, then the expediter station will show that by very visible change of color, and then you'll know, okay, I've got everything needed. Now I'm just going to do one last review, make sure everything's on the tray or everything's in the bag, and then I'm going to tap that off from the expo station. There's one other kind of station that I want to cover here, and that's our customer-facing display. So this view syncs with the ticket status in the other back-of-house stations that we just talked about, and it allows customers to view their order in real time. So helping reduce unnecessary distractions for staff and increasing customer satisfaction. If you can see where your order is, you're more likely to be patient, less likely to bug the staff, and just generally more understanding. And like the back of house views, you can mount this. You can put this in. You could put this in a very large display and put it out in the customer area. And you can even add things like customization of the restaurant's logo for brand consistency. And in fact, you can do that throughout the whole KDS system. But I know folks are often especially interested in the customization on the customer facing side. Aside from some of those things we've talked about, we've got a lot of features packed in here, a lot more than I can go over in all today, but I want to give you just like a quick idea here, right? We already talked about that no-code integration with virtually any POS. If you can send the order to an Epson printer, you can send it to our KDS. We talked about our modern interface. This also has super customizable layouts, colors, branding, even within the back of house. You can add your logo, you can add your color scheme. If you have folks transitioning from another solution, you might want to mirror some of the color coding that other solution had just to help with that transition. If people really used to, red means this and blue means this, you can set that up in this KDS, and it just helps people, continue with the flow. We've got all sorts of features around timing and priority indicators. And I'll show that a little bit actually when we jump into the demo later. We do support bump bars for those who maybe want an option that's not gonna, if their hands are greasy, they're not gonna be touching the screen all the time and getting it really messy and hard to read. Instead, they can interact with it with a bump bar. We do have some remote management capabilities to help keep, for example, versions up to date and push out, let's say you change the logo or something like that and you want consistency across locations. I already mentioned our API for those who want to really get in and do a custom integration, and we're happy to talk with anyone about ideas for that and how we can help facilitate. We also support item label printing on Bump. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, as well as kitchen analytics. So I'm going to highlight that one in a minute as well. And here you can see in the lower right corner, you can see just an example of some of the customization that you can do. So these are ticket designs, and you can take all these colors you see here. We're showing examples of allergy callouts, voids, additions, things like that, and you can color code all that stuff. So as I mentioned, I want to highlight a couple features here. The first one is bump and print. So what this feature allows you to do is take a label printer, plug it into the KDS station, and check a box. And essentially, once you've done that, then you can have it so that when you touch or bump a specific order, then the information for that order will print on the label printer. So that's really nice because it means that you can print a label right when it's needed, right? Rather than having it whenever the POS sends it, and then, maybe you're working on something else and it gets, ends up wherever, right? You can have it printed exactly when you're about to start that. When you have, let's say you're doing cup labeling, you can grab that coffee cup and have that label come out and put it right there. Of course, using one of our really popular label printers. We have L100 line, L90s are also popular as well. These are really, really great Epson printers that I could go on and on about, but I won't today because I want to focus on KDS. But this is a really awesome feature because it makes it easy to add labeling wherever you want in the process. So you could do, for example, a subset of the order. You could have print a label for, let's say, the drink station if you're making coffees, where it just describes the information for the coffee. And then at that last step for where you have that expo station, then you could have it print the entire order on a label, and you could use that to put on a bag, helping make sure that you're not going to forget any items, that you know who it's for, what order number it is, and you can use that label as well as the levels of security as well, folks. Of course, with delivery apps and things like that, it's nice to just have that extra security of it's clear that no one's opened this, right? So that's a really, really useful feature, and a KDS makes it easier than ever. The other feature I want to highlight, this is actually one of our newer features, so we're really excited about this one, and that's Kitchen Analytics. So the way that Kitchen Analytics works is you can have it gathering data from KDS stations at a single location, but you can also have it gathering data from KDS stations across multiple different restaurant locations. And so you can see things like the average time to complete an order, or even the average time broken down by things like location or type of station, or even individual items. If you want to understand, hey, I added this new item to my menu, how much difference has that made in my average order time? Or, oh, is there one specific item that's really, really causing things to slow down, or one specific station where if I just put an extra person at this station, everything would go faster? It's going to help you identify those bottlenecks and also just create benchmarks and goals for yourself over time. So this is a really exciting feature, and we've seen a lot of interest in it. Okay, so now I think the most exciting part is I want to jump into a little demo for you all. So what I'm going to do here is, as soon as I pull this up, we're gonna take you into the KDS application. I'm gonna push an order. We're gonna watch that come up on the screen, and then we'll just sort of show the order flow through the system. So let me just pull that up. Okay. All right. So what you're seeing now here is the blank screen. I haven't pushed any orders yet. So you're going to see this has a little custom logo at the top. This is, let's say I have a kitchen station. I don't have any tickets or anything like that. Now I'm going to go ahead. I've got a little fake POS system over here. I'm going to push orders to it. Let me just push a refresh here. There we go. All right, so I pushed one order to it. I'm going to go ahead and push another just to show that in real time. And I'm also going to let's show a little bit of a longer order. And I'm going to add some customizations to it. Let's say I want to order some coffee or tea, and I want some milk, and I want oat milk in that tea. So here's an example here where you've got a specific customization call out that you want to make super visible. And there's all sorts of different color coding and things, as I mentioned, that you can set up. So one thing that you'll notice here, as soon as I pop these orders in, you're seeing a timer start. So all these orders are being timed so that the system and anyone looking at it can understand how long these orders have been in the system. Now you just saw one at the top turn yellow. So the reason that happened is because I've set a threshold in my settings that says, okay, once it's been in there for a minute, let's turn it yellow. Let's call a little bit of attention to it. Realistically, you probably would do that a little more than a minute, depending on what kind of flow you have. But let's say if the order's been in there for 5-10 minutes, you really want to call attention to it. You want to start saying, hey, this one's been sitting here. Let's try and prioritize this. And you can there's 2 levels of thresholds. So you can have one to priority, and then another one it'll go to red eventually. That'll show rush just as another level of escalation there. So just to show a couple things here in the interface, I just tapped that middle item. So you could do that by just tapping the header, or if you have a bump bar attached, you could just type the number of the order. And if, let's say, I've accidentally bumped something, I'm going to come over here to recall, and I can toggle into a mode this recall mode that shows me the history of all the items. So if I accidentally bump something, or maybe I need to remake something, I can just go into recall mode, tap it, and then I jump back to the regular mode, and my order has reappeared, and it's marked as showing recall. There's a bunch of different information that you can also show in these headers. So here I'm showing a name. That could be customer name or order name, depending on how you set it up. It's got a unique order number. There's other things that you can show in this header, like you can call out things like walk-in or versus to go or dine in, those sorts of distinguishing pieces that might affect how you approach the order. You can also adjust the size of things in real time. So if you've got a lot of tickets, I can zoom way out, or I can also zoom way in and see bigger tickets. So that's something that people can do just on the fly based on their preferences. So now that let's say I bump a couple orders here. Let's say this is my station 1, and now I've got an expediter station at the end of the flow. So I want to show what that looks like. Hit a refresh here. All right. So what we're seeing here is a few different of the orders that I've already approved, and you can see that they're actually all green because the prerequisite step has been completed. So that means that if these are all ready to go, and so I could go ahead and mark these as totally complete. Before I do that, I actually want to show you the customer-facing display view of this. So here I can see that those orders are in that preparing phase because I haven't done that final expo bump. So once I go in here, and actually I'm going to pull this out so you can see it in real time. I'm on my other screen, and I'm going to go ahead and start bumping things as done, and you can see that they move over right away to that ready column. And you could put order numbers here. You can also put names here as well if you want to have customer names so they can more easily identify it. It's up to you how you want to set this up. So the last piece I want to show you in the demo here is just get a quick sneak peek at the configuration utility. So in addition to the KDS itself being really user-friendly, the configuration is even really accessible for folks to be able to go in and make changes as needed. So what you're seeing here is the actual configuration for the setup that I just showed you. So here I have 2 regular sort of back-end KDS screens, and I've got a customer-facing view. Here, if I want to jump into one of them, I can see here's the layout preview showing what I had. I can go in here and I can edit all sorts of stuff. So I could toggle to this light and dark mode that are sort of pre-configured, or I could go in even deeper and I could go and look at the exact color coding, text and background, all these different appended item colors, and get really detailed with that, either way you want to do it. And then the last thing I want to show you is just how we do that point of sale mapping and how that works. So I've got a giant list of point of sales, and what this is these are point of sale systems that we've actually already built a mapping for. We've got, I think, about 50 of them at this point. Every time that we have a request for mapping for a new point of sale system, our team churns that out really quickly, usually just a few weeks, and then we will hand it over to whoever needs it, and then in the next version of KDS, it'll also get rolled into the list. So we've got this ever-growing list of compatibility, and it's really easy to add new ones. It's just sort of as an ad-needed basis. Okay. So I'm going to jump out of the demo now, and I'm actually going to pass it back to Scott to talk about sort of how to order these and what the specific devices that this comes on look like.
All right, thank you, Tessa. Okay, so let me go through quickly the models that are available with TrueOrder. And we have two sizes available, the 15.6 and the 21.5. And within those sizes, we have a couple of different models. We have our standard model, which is with the TrueOrder KDS. And then we also have the model with TrueOrder KDS plus Power over Ethernet, or PoE. And let me give a little word on PoE. So in a lot of our designs, we want to make installation as simple for you as possible. And in most cases, and really with both of these products, you can install these with really one cable. So for example, for the standard TrueOrder KDS, if you have line power at the location where you want to install your KDS, you just plug it into line power, and then you can get on your network wirelessly, and it's one cable installation. Or if you don't have that line power and it's prohibitive for you to get the line power to your KDS location, if you have a PoE network router already in place, you can just run a low voltage network cable to the unit and power the entire unit over PoE. So again, it connects your network through the network cable, provides power, and it's a one cable installation. So multiple ways to do it. We want to give you as many offerings as we can to simplify your integration. Okay, then for the 15-inch, the speeds and feeds here are basically some of the things we've already talked about with the MediaTek processor. And the only real difference here is the brightness level of the 15 is 450 nits. And then we do have multiple USB ports and other I/O ports available. So if you need to add any peripherals to this product, it's easily plugged in via the USB ports and peripheral mounting locations on the sides of the device. Okay, and then for the 21-inch, same thing, standard product with PoE. And then what I really want to point out is the consistency between the 15.6 and the 21.5. We're using the same processor, we're using the same type of setup, so you can really mix and match your 21.5, a 15.6 within the restaurant. The software is going to run the same. TrueOrder will be consistent across both. You can run these in landscape, portrait mode. They'll be very consistent between these devices, and the setups will be the same. So so there we have the 15.6, the 21.5, and then the final offering here is our mock media player, which also is shipped with TrueOrder KDS, and it offers the same consistency on the computing side. The real benefit here is that you can use this media player with any of the MicroTouch touch monitor products. So for example, if you have a really small constrained area that you want to use a 10-inch display, you can mount your 10-inch display and then use the mock media player to drive the KDS solution on the display. Or as Tessa mentioned earlier, one of the new features is the customer-facing display. So maybe you want to use one of the large digital signage products, maybe our 55-inch display, and use that for the customer-facing display, and use the Mark Media Player to drive that solution. Um, so that's really it for in terms of our hardware solutions, our model numbers, how to order, and I'll turn this back over to Lily for questions and answers.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Tessa. Both very informative. We have a lot of questions that came in. I'll try to get to some that we didn't cover in the presentation. But again, if we don't get to yours, I'll be sure to answer. A lot of them are about how to get demos. Like Scott said, we have the part numbers. Reach out, I'll follow up with all you guys. We definitely can get you all, a complete demo, and test with your software and whatnot. We've integrated a lot of different parsing, different POSs so far, and we've been successful with a lot. But just some questions that I like that we didn't cover. Can you add recipes and pictures to the a feature to the display?
So in terms of,
Yes.
you're saying send over recipes and like instructions along with the information in the order that would show on the screen?
Yeah, I assume
That sounds like
so.
the question. We don't support that today, but it's something that's on our roadmap.
You can, recipes I have seen. So if you hold down, hamburger or whatever it is, you are able to put in some sort of recipes. I have seen that added.
You can see some order details if you open it up, but you're not going to see like a full step-by-step anything. Not yet. But this is an active product, so we're always taking suggestions.
Okay, awesome. Then I have another one. This might be for you again, Tessa. What happens if the internet goes down while KDS is in operation?
Yeah, so one of the cool things about our solution is that it can function fully offline. The only thing that you're going to lose if the internet goes down is it's going to pause if you're sending that analytics data over the internet to an external. Let's say you're housing that in a cloud or something, you're sending that over, and it's up to you where you keep that data. But if you are sending that over the internet, it's just going to pause and then it's going to send it over the next opportunity. But that's not really going to be a problem. So anything else that's happening, it's all local, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yes, that's a great feature that I know some other ones don't have. Does the KDS show the server name on the ticket?
It can. So that's something that we can customize in that parser that we create for you. So if you, let's say you have a point of sale that we either don't already have a parser for, or you are using a point of sale, even if it's on that list, if you're using it a little bit differently, or if you want some different information in the header, that's something that we can work with you on, and we don't even charge for that. So if the point of sale is sending that information and it can send it in a print job, then we should be able to capture it and put that in the header. It's totally customizable in that way.
Some more. A lot of these questions are about what, who is parsed already and what's compatible POS systems. We can get that list to all of you guys. Like I said, we've added plenty, throughout the year and 2 years that this has been out, and continue to add more. It's just
Yeah,
a
for
matter.
sure. There's a documentation. It is fully available on in our support documentation, but we'll get it for you so you don't have to go spelunking for it, and we can get that out to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of specific ones on here that, I can just send you the list or check right after. And we'll
Right,
know.
and just keep in mind that if it's not on there, it's usually not a hard lift for us to add it. So
Yes. Another question is, can coursing be displayed?
so we're not handling coursing within the in the KDS today in terms of storing that timing, and if you're talking about like fire times and things like that. We have some folks who were doing that on the point of sale side. So they would just not, they would hold it on the point of sale and then send it whenever it's ready to the KDS. So we're not doing that timing on the KDS side today, largely because we're really focused on sort of the quick service side, and that's less of a demand. But we have heard that, and we do have some ongoing conversations about that. So if it's something you're interested in, reach out, because we want to make sure that we include, when we do get there, that we, include everything that you would need. So not yet.
Definitely. Okay, great. I think that might be all. I see a lot of questions about cost of demos and whatnot. Like I said, guys, I'll reach out to every one of you, myself and our account managers. If you already work with one of us or myself, we're very hands-on. We can jump on a call and go through this whole thing again just with us. But I will make sure that everybody, all these questions are answered, who's integrated with what. And I think that is all for today. But thank you again for everyone joining. Again, really excited about these new features. We've had a lot of success with KDS so far, and looking forward to getting this out to a bunch more of you. So thank you. Hope everyone has a great rest of the day. And
Thanks for coming, everyone.
yes, thanks for coming.
All right, thanks everyone.
Bye-bye.